Summer lingers, but never quite long enough. As the seasons turn, they make their shimmering beds, of which summer is gum leaves, tall grass, sand grains, and conch shells, the seaweed belched up from the sea. Summer is a rank delight, and dances between the two in splendour. A whale carcass rotting on a pebbly shore, the red and bloated body escaping the heat as an eagle circles in flight. A colourful dance that draws the eye, intertwining the grotesque and the beautiful in an ephemeral play. A spider's web beating in trance, as a trapped cicada wrestles for life and the air under its wings once more. Now its song calls forth its hunter. Summer, you are open fields, a fruit ripened, a feeling of ease. You somehow elude me, and when the cold creeps back in, I wish for your return. This summer will be different, I say. I will be the lizard with its belly on the rocks, the dragonfly's merry path through the sky. I will grow with the grass, shed with the bark, and call out the day's end with the lazy birds at dusk. I will sink, swim, and cradle the warm life that resounds where I stand. And this summer will light me up from the inside out, warmth that will whisper of this sweet season until its return. Summer! I love summer.
So I'm currently trying to make a flower crown for the concept image that I've made, which is me wearing a big green flower crown. My plan is to, make it out of wire and just try, little birdie. So my plan is to make it out of wire and just try and forage the leaves in my own garden, because I feel like I'll be able to, I want really dark green, thick leaves, and I feel like I can find them in my garden. Yeah. And it's fun. I'm actually I've never made a flower crown before, so I'm really excited to do that. Put it on. It's actually really comfy. This is it. I feel really lucky because if I'm in my head, these flowers are gonna fall, and these ones too. They're just stuck in there. But I just made myself a tea. The drawing is coming along very well. You can't actually see it very well on the camera because it's so faint at the moment, because I'm just blocking it in. I don't know if that will help you see it better. yeah, I've never drawn I've never done an under drawing for a painting. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm also really excited to see how it affects when I begin to paint. Alright, so I've finished the underdrawing of this painting, and I'm really happy with it. I've been on a quest these past couple months to learn how to sustain my creative projects. I find that sometimes I'm smacked over the head with an idea for a project, and I jump in with a blazing fire of passion, and as quickly as it comes, it goes. And I'm left with a half-finished project staring at me from some nook in my painting room, waiting for brushstrokes that may never come. So to figure out my way into sustain creating again, I first took a break. I would explain this time away with the metaphor of a closet, where before my crazed artist was rummaging through her closet each day, searching for something to wear, craving a new piece of clothing that wasn't in there. Now, instead, I came to my closet and I just looked. And I realized half of the things within it I didn't even like to begin with. There was a lot of discarding to do. Discarding of old artistic ideas, discarding of things I only held on to please others, and a sweeping away of cobwebs, akin to releasing all the negative talk and shame I'd drawn up around my art making because of how much pressure I was putting on myself to create. What I was left with were a few garments hanging in a spotless wardrobe. My time away gave me the space to return to what I truly wanted to create, and I realized there really weren't many things inside my closet, but the things that were there were precious to me, and I would put them on again and again and again. This painting here sprang from the feeling of outgrowing an old identity of myself, of leaving behind parts of myself that no longer fit my life. We are constantly dying to be reborn, and this season of my life has brought this truth very close to the surface for me. I've felt a deep sadness for who I have been and who I'm not anymore. I was moved to make this painting to commemorate that, to say, I see you, old me, and I love you, and I hope you love me too, as I change and grow. Each time I sit down to paint it, I get to meet with these feelings and allow them to be seen again and again and again, to know they are worthy, to know that it's okay to feel so raw and fragile in a world in which you're used to having thick skin. My final takeaway has been simple, and it is allowing your creative practice to take on whatever shape it wants. Maybe you're a dancer and you've been wanting to sit down and write, but it's not the craft you're versed in, that you're comfortable in, or that you're practiced in, so you stop yourself. It is very easy to funnel towards the things we are good at and receive praise for, which I do want to highlight isn't a bad thing, and it's great to hone in on your craft and dial in on something specific. However, I found for myself, it stopped me from diving into other creative worlds that turns out I love just as dearly. I'm a painter, but I'm drawing again. I'm writing again too. Parts of this voiceover are things I wrote one day when the very simple words of create what you feel popped into my head. Really here, I'm advocating for letting your creativity expand into new realms that you may have blocked off. Another question that I've been asking myself, and that I'll leave you with, is what would you create if there was no one to show it to? If there was only you in this world? us see what Lucy hath in the magical blue folder. Aww. Hey, this actually ended up expanding into a lot bigger of a painting. I forgot about that. This actually reminds me of a thought that I had recently, which is that we experience ourselves as different people constantly, and it's either something that you can bring awareness to or not. You can also choose to see yourself as quite a static being, as quite a static thing that doesn't change, and that has one way of presenting and one way of being. But as I move through the world, I notice there are things that bring out an entirely different Lucy than other things. And so I think there's really something to be said about bringing awareness to all of those different ways that we can be in the world and choosing to love it all, choosing to bring it all home in your body and say that it's all welcome here. And then I've found that doing that allows me to actually step into the witness more often when I'm experiencing a time where I just feel like shit. Like I feel like I can't express, and that I have nothing to offer or to give, and like I'm not wanted or worthy. That used to be something that would rule me. Like when I felt that, it was like there wasn't an alternative. I feel like now though, I can step back and say, hey, this is something that's in the system right now. Maybe even pinpoint a reason why, find a trigger, if you will. But also just be able to have so much more kindness and compassion for when I feel like that, and know that it's temporary. Like, not get consumed by it, to know it's temporary, to know it's gonna pass. Just as those insane highs and those insane moments where you're just like excited and content and just brimming with joy, those pass too. And so actually, to bring it back to this, I feel like in relationships, it can be so easy to relationships can do one of two things. They can either help you to rehome every single version of yourself and bring validation and love to maybe the parts of you that you haven't been able to love and validate yet. Or they can be really restrictive, where you feel like you can only show a person a certain aspect of you. And if you're demonizing another part of you, if you're ashamed of parts of yourself, you'll attract that same shame from others. That's maybe a bad way to put it, but if you can't see and love the hurting parts of yourself, it's really hard for others too. I think it's so important to find relationships like this, because as much as anyone wants you to think that they've got things under control and they've got their life worked out and they are centered and understood within themselves, life always has a way of bringing us back into the unknown and teaching us a new lesson that completely shakes the foundations sometimes. And then you will, yes, have these moments where you're at your worst. And I think it's so important to have people in your life that can see you and actually love you at your worst. In those times where you feel so crunchy and so unable to accept yourself. So I love this because this is how you also get to love each other at your best. They're not separate. They can't be one without the other. I love having little things that just like, I don't know, expand out into so much. This is a beautiful painting. It's so simple. The light's reflecting on it, but I love just how simple it is. It's just blues and yellows, but it's like you get this feeling of grandness and of mystery. This is my prayer. I've had a fun relationship to prayer because I went to a Catholic school and I did not believe in God. And so Mass and prayer were in a way forced on me. And something I found boring and just completely devoid of life. I thought it was so stale and so antiquated, just like a relic of the past. Like, come on, let's move on, there's science now. And then what have you, there's many ways to explain it, but I grew and I guess found a different approach to the grand mystery of life. And now I have a new relationship to prayer, a new relationship to religion and spirituality as well, but I don't want to delve into that right now. But praying I just see as this amazing way to speak love into the airways and an amazing way to connect with something greater than yourself, even if that's just your values and your dreams. And I see prayer as the simplest, such a simple act, but with such profound gravity behind it. So this is my prayer. Tonight I pray for the children of the earth, for them to remember all that they are and all that they have been, that they can be blessed with the knowing of their greatness, that they can walk the earth knowing in every step they are held and love. I pray that all beings can turn towards the fountain of love inside themselves, waiting to clean their wounds and allow them weightless rest. I pray for my brothers and sisters, for their light and their dark. I pray for the power of two people seeing each other truthfully for the first time. I pray for the rewriting of our human story, for the glistening, beating heart of humanity to take center stage and reawaken the collective to our own eternal Eden, to the powerful play, the unfolding evolution, the eternal dance, the rush of your first breath here in a heaven just waiting for you to arrive. A place that ushered your first steps in reverence and that will fill the last fall of your feet in grace, thanking you for all you have contributed, for all of you. I pray that my family and friends will feel loved morning, noon, and night, that a deep breath can be found wherever they are and whoever they are with. I pray for peace, I pray for truth, I pray for freedom, and I pray for love. I pray for expression and creativity and the power of our new human story that I am blessed enough to be a part of writing. And for all of that, I pray. That's my prayer. Me and the girls on a Tuesday night. I love it when I just stumble across things that I wrote ages ago. To be in a dark cave searching for the sky with no light is better than to hold a candle and think you have found the sky. Interesting. Little metaphor about illusion and the pursuit of wisdom. Me. The magical blue folder. So many little goodies. Postcards. This is this little set of watercolor paint tiles that were gifted to me by a beautiful artist whose farm I stayed in Slovenia. And I love them. I don't know if YouTube copyrights songs, but I don't really care at the moment. This is the song that has been all I want to listen to. Let's turn her up.
explain the steps of this painting. So I began with a grisaille, which is a black and white mock-up of the image. So just using one colour to fill in the lights and the darks of the image, so you're just working tonally to create the value scale from light to dark. And then the next step is to just fill in the colours, block them in one by one. Sadly the recording didn't work, so we have a big skip ahead right here, but you can kind of see in the chest area and the hand, it's very blocky shapes at this point. And then I began to work on colour and getting the colour relationships right. So I'm changing the colour of the wall behind her and adding some detail. This was really fun. This whole painting was just such a fun project. So yeah, now I'm adding some more detail in the hands, especially because in this portrait the head, chest and the hands were the area that I wanted to be the focus and the center of attention. So I was putting a lot of time and detail into those areas to really make sure that they were the first place that someone would look, and they're kind of the soul of the painting, you know. So yeah, and this painting is of my mum. She's resting in one of her favorite spots, and the sunlight was streaming in, and I just like walked past and I saw it and I took a little photo because it was a sweet moment and I wanted to capture it. So let's see, what am I doing here? So I begun mixing some of the colours in this pillow. I made the highlights quite warm and yellow to show that it was a natural light streaming in from that window. I found that once I fixed this pillow, it really just like brought the painting to life a bit more. And you see where the light's hitting, where it's coming from, and the warmth that it brings to the scene. And especially this bed sheet, this really just like made everything pop. Once I added the highlights here, I found that the form moved back into the painting and everything seemed more vibrant. Adding those to the pillow as well behind, the lighting and the angle changes a lot during these shots because I had a lot of different painting sessions for this painting. It took me quite a while to finish. I saved the face till last, or till quite towards the end, because I was scared. I was quite scared. You know, it's my mum and I know her face so well, so I was like, it needs to look like her. And getting a likeness for a painting is pretty intimidating. But it was progressing pretty well at this point. It was just about getting the main shapes of her face. And then I wasn't happy with the background colour again, so I changed it again. I think I changed it like 4 times during the time of this painting. And that was the last time lapse I got, which is quite a bummer, but I still wanted to include it in this video, but I don't have any videos of the final product, which I do apologise for that. This is just a little painting of a house that I saw in New Zealand. It was really beautiful and I just felt like painting it. It just took me like 2 days or something like that. I hope you enjoyed these time lapses of me painting. They're kind of shaky and the angle keeps changing in them, but I always find it really cool to see a painting coming along super fast. You guys can't tell probably how much time it took me, but I think it was something around the 18-hour mark. It's quite funny because I began this video saying that I was going to be setting out to stop leaving projects unfinished. But it's funny because life did a life and I am in New Zealand and my paintings are at home because they were big paintings and they couldn't travel with me. A beautiful happening from my travels and the fact that I can't paint as easily and as readily is that I've been writing way more poetry. And oh my goodness, I've fallen in love. I have been intensely inspired by the beautiful land that I find myself on. And it is not very often nowadays that I go for a walk without a pen and a notebook, which is so delightful. It's such a fun thing to just dive into a new way of communicating the wonder that you see. I'd like to read you guys a poem from my time in the South Island. Just one of many. Torn life clings to the cliff edge, bearing witness to its old friend the sea and the pebbles that knock against each other, wearing themselves to slick sealskin and opalescent green galaxies. Windows of orange, purple and gold that hum in unison as the sea pulls them into her dance. Their tumbling chorus resounds as each new wave unearths a stone that was waiting to catch the light. In this way they turn and fall, some into the sea, never to be touched and turned over again. Some belch further to flax and field, to be picked up by the young and starry-eyed, who would rather carry galaxies in their pockets than cell phones. Reminders of one's smallness, rather than allurements to a false importance. Here it is all important, where an old stump lies, king of the seashore, his final resting place found, half taken by the restless sands, swallowed amongst seal bones and crab shells. Roots reoriented to the night sky, he draws down cosmos to his sandy grave. Stars to be found again in the sweet pools of rainwater gathering in his grooves. Stand on high upon his ancient grain, and you'll understand your place in the world. See how we cannot understand the ways in which we will live on, nor the changes that will come to pass. Listen to the nothing from whence all things came, to the everything where all things are going. See how bodies wither, but life remains, how time falls where spirit stands, on a pebbled shore, and all the places you may walk on this earth, grace reigns. And that is my poem. I hope you enjoyed, and this will be the end of this video. So I hope you folks are having a beautiful time wherever you are.